Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading Satellite Office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Thursday, August the 23rd, 2012, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary. I want to go ahead and first start off by taking a look to see how the indices close here. The Dow Jones closed down 115.30, the Nasdaq closed down 20.27, and the S&P 500 closed down 11.41 here. The weakest index on the board today was the Dow Jones, down 0.88%. Taking a look at the breadth, we had 4,298 stocks declining. We had 1,840 stocks advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. So definitely bears were in full force today, like they have been for the past 3 days on the breadth in the market. While the market still has this kind of bullish undertone to it, the breadth in stocks are showing us that the breadth in the market within these stocks are showing us that we do have some profit taking effect here, taking place. So let's go take a look at the SPY daily chart. We remain below this 143 high that we put in earlier this week. The key levels that we want to watch going forward for tomorrow's session, the end of the week here, Friday, is this 140 level. You can see we have this rising 20-day and exponential, 20-day simple and exponential moving average right here around the 140 area. And just in general, 140 area should be a solid level to work off of. So if we can hold this moving average, that would be good. A good opportunity is possibly pick up some longs. At the same time, if we get a little action where we sell off below the moving averages, below this 140, and recover 140 by the end of the session, that would possibly be a nice little pivot. That's probably going to be able to work off of the long against these levels around here. Remember, this was prior resistance, so this area around 139 should be some decent support if we sell off. Look for maybe some dip buyers to get involved in here if we get a little sell-off and people try to pick up some stocks on the cheap. So just something to keep in mind there. Watch that 140 with this 139 area. To be exact, that area is actually 138.70 on the SPY. All right, and as far as the top side goes for resistance, you want to be watching this 141.5 level. Let's take a look at the ES here. The ES held the 1400 level today. All right, if I take off the studies off this chart here, you can see that we're at a key trend line, the same trend line from the head and shoulders pattern that broke down back here in May. All right, and as long as we remain above that trend line, we'll be in good shape, and we can put a nice high base consolidation in here to work off of. However, if we break back below 1400 and we start holding below that key trend line that we've been paying close attention to, all right, then we can maybe get this could possibly be a bull trap, and we get some fast selling pressure. So I mean, we're at a critical level right now, is what I'm trying to say. If we can hold up tomorrow above 1400 and all of next week, we could build out this little high base up here. That would be good. But if we break again below 1400 and hold it below that level, then this could be a nice little bull trap that's taking effect here off of this nice little reversal signal that we got right here at the double top. That's at this double top area. So anyways, that's something to watch on the ES. Top side level you want to watch is 1408, 1408 and 1411, 12 area. And then the 1400 we break down, you want to be watching this 1390, all right, or even this little chop zone we have. You can see back here 2 weeks ago, all the dip buyers were coming into these levels down here. So that level is around the 1395 or so. So watch that 1395, 1390. Taking a look at the Qs, triple Qs here. The Qs are still holding up pretty well. If I put the studies back on the charts, we can see where they're at relative to the moving averages. You can see here we hit the double top up there on the 68.5 level, and we're still holding above 67.37 or this zone here. Even if we pull back towards 66.52, this little green band zone is actually a good area, and also coincides with the 20-day simple and exponential moving average on the daily chart. Okay, let's take a look at the IWM. So the Qs are looking pretty good. Watch that 68.50 level, and then watch like 67.5 area. The IWM still holding up well. All right, we are looking for that. We are looking for that pullback because we did not get an official back test of this channel break right here. This was kind of like a little minor back test right here, but usually what I like to see is a nice little back test. If we don't get that exact back test like so, then we could possibly be putting in a higher low to work off of. But again, this is a bullish pattern, and it sticks until price action falls somewhere back below this trend line. You still respect this trend line as a possible area for price to catch support. Line that up with horizontal price support, and you can get some nice strong levels there. So anyway, IWM still holding above its 20-day simple moving average, 50-day simple moving average looks good. As long as the Qs and the SPY hold up, then we're going to be looking for the IWM to try to play catch up and get towards these upper levels. It's the same way the Qs and the SPYs are hanging around right now. So let's take a look at gold. Gold has just been on a tear. GLD on fire. Continues to go higher. Volume is increasing. Look, we have a nice little volume pattern trend line that I like to draw on my charts here. And you can see here that some nice action rising up on increasing volume. Next level to watch is the 164.5, possibly even 166 if this thing can get going here. You could already tell that this thing's on fire from the gaps. Look, one gap, two gap. It's going to be like a little runaway gap setup here where everybody's trying to chase the gold. We'll see. But, I mean, you have to owe it all to the dollar. Again, we talked about the dollar in a nice little upward channel. Looking for that possibility of a break off of this nice little consolidation near the lower end of the channel. Got that break. We were looking for the 81.50 level to hold, but stated that if that level was to break, we could come down here towards these moving averages. And that, of course, would bode way for some of these commodities to rise up, even though they have been getting smacked lately. It seems like today all the commodities across the board are selling off except for gold. So keep that in mind. We'll take a look at a couple of these stocks, and like for example, the steel stocks. These things just got crushed. And I was looking for U.S. steel to possibly be a nice play to the long side if it was to hold up, but that actually fell. So that's not a good sign that these stocks are putting in nice little patterns and not holding up. And now the whole pattern we have right here on U.S. steel, this nice W pattern. I remember I talked about how this trend line, this 2250 level is key on U.S. steel for the fact you can see that they're basically chopping it up and down around the level. So there's a nice little battle going on in here. And now you can see there's a possibility that the bears won the battle. All right, so if we break below 21 and we break below 20.5, this thing could go all the way back down. And this action from this little break above 2160 could be a nice little trap that took place in a 2-week time span or so, 3-week time span. So U.S. still holding below 2166. Even if it holds below 22, is bearish. I'm looking at the put options on this right here, the 21 strike put options, and those look like they're going to get the most action going forward. So keep an eye on those. A lot of put contracts went off on U.S. Steel today, along with some of the other steel stocks. CLF, all right, CLF as well. This one's looking like it wants to roll over. This thing could start holding below 38.5, or even call it 38. This thing could go back down towards 36. You got about $3.30 to the downside on that one. And then you have AKS and NUE. AKS is holding up a little bit better than the rest of them. And if you take a look at NUE, NUE is still looking alright too. It has this nice little upward channel on it, as you can see here. So this one's still looking pretty decent as well. So the weakest steel stocks out there right now. Take a look at X and take a look at CLF. Let's take a look to see how FCX is doing. FCX, nice little rally into its 200-day simple and exponential moving average in a daily time frame. I would not be surprised if the market was to get some selling pressure up here at these levels, if this thing will pull back in, maybe back down towards 35 or so. Which is just something to keep on watch. But aside from that, the gold stocks are holding up pretty well, but the rest of the commodity stocks are starting to come in now, which is a little bit of change of characteristics. So we saw this little dollar. When we saw the dollar decreasing, all right, we were seeing these commodity stocks get a nice bounce, like the coal stocks. For prime example, the coal stocks were getting a nice bounce, and now the dollar's getting a little bit of selling pressure, and these things are starting to roll over, while the other commodity stocks, such as gold, are holding up. So just something to watch there. Let's see, Google, the technology sector, is still holding up pretty well. We had a nice little breakout in CRUS. Wasn't tracking it during the day, but then somebody mentioned it in the chat room, and that thing was just a strong stock today. So that's something to pay close attention to. Anyway, let's talk about this Google right here real quick. Google's still looking in good shape. You can see it's trending the 8 EMA and SMA on the daily chart. Looks pretty good. Needs to break and hold above 680. Apple's still holding up pretty well. Had a nice little gap down, a little inside day. Just a little high base consolidation right here above 652. Amazon, another good stock, guys, that you can buy on the intraday dip, because those strong stocks are going to be the stocks that they buy on the dips, especially on a day that we gap down and sell off a little bit. But we still have that little bullish kind of tone to the market where people want to buy strong stocks. Well, and you got to find those strong stocks and buy them. Apple, Apple being one example, and Amazon being an example. But Amazon is a stock that I'm tracking for the fact that I think it's going to break and make new all-time highs, kind of like Apple. Just think it needs to consolidate above this 238 level, which is support now from prior resistance right here. It's going to act as support. The longer it consolidates above 280, You can see it's just stair stepping its way higher, breakout, sideways step, move higher, maybe sideways step. So watch that 246 level. It's going to be key on that stock. But I'm definitely tracking that stock right there for sure. What else we got here? Let's see what eBay did today. Didn't have a good chance to take a look at eBay. eBay, a little pullback. I said I didn't like how it closed yesterday. BIG was in play. One of the stocks that we had in the chat room. Didn't trade this one. I was more or less watching HPQ for most of the day, even though that thing was trading kind of tricky until it started rolling over midday. But BIG, nice levels to work off on this stock here. Stock gap down from earnings. I'll take off the study so you guys can see how it looks relative to the levels. You can see here that it had some decent levels to trade off of prior price action to the left over here from 2011 levels there. So these are just the stocks that you want to make sure you pay attention to. Stocks that have fresh news in the morning, that you get the levels for them, you trade them around the levels around, also along with the ES levels. So HPQ, let's punch this one up real quick. HPQ, this stock looks like it wants to go lower. All right, stock could barely hold above 18 today for most of the session. Let me bring it up on a 5-minute chart. You can see it was just chopping around there until it started rolling over. And I highlighted in the chat room that 1790 was a key level on the stock. There was a lot of volume going off at 1790 during the opening session. There was like a held offer below 18 at 1790. Saw that, noticed that, called a short for a quick scalp. Let me bring up the 1-minute chart. Called that short for a quick scalp, but then we'll look what happened. Sold off, went all the way down to a low of 1766. We had 1760, 61 as S2. And by the time you can even put your hand on the trigger to cover it, if you didn't have no orders out there, they popped it right back up. So this one was a nice little flat for my 1785 short. So that's what shows you got to be quick on the open in this environment, especially on these little in-play stocks with fresh news. So anyway, that's about it today, guys. Not really much going on out there that I see today. Again, I did want to show you guys some more commodity stocks that are starting to sell out that were showing strength before, like the agricultural stocks. CF Industries selling off here, and take a look at potash. Potash selling off here as well. So again, commodity sector, was holding up pretty well with that decline in dollar, but now it looks like they're selling all the commodities, including some of the energy stocks, and just holding on to some of these gold stocks here, which is pretty interesting. Take a look at ExxonMobil real quick before I end the video. I know I keep on going on here, but ExxonMobil, the environment for stocks were well here. The ExxonMobil would have broke above this 88 level and held above it, but now it looks like anybody that bought above 88 the past 2 weeks, they're in a losing position right now. And if the market was to get some selling pressure, and this was to start selling a little bit more down towards the 86 level, anybody that's long from up here will start feeling that pain, and that's when you get that nice little sell-off from people being trapped in a bull trap scenario. And we catch those on an intraday basis as well. So make sure you come to the chat room, check us out, mywallstreettv.com. Password to log in is SMART. If you need to get in contact with me for whatever reason, you can email me at ccooper@wallstreettrading.com, and you can come. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, My Wall Street TV. So I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow in the War Room. Have a great night, guys. Later.